of P does have the health back thing, but it's definitely not as aggressive as Bloodborne.
Okay,
Just
this is
FYI.
working now. I will let Enrique know.
Lies of P does look awesome though. That is one I definitely want to play.
It's the best Souls game if you like dying.
I love the aesthetic of it. That was mainly what drew me into Bloodborne, and then that game just happened to be great. But yeah, Lies of P, I absolutely love like the clockwork aesthetic in that. Like it's just very neat.
Hmm. Okay, are we ready to start?
Ready, Freddy?
Okay. Then here we go. All right, so who wants to give us a really quick recap of the fight with the dragon? Or should I?
Maybe if we got a hero point, we. No, I'm kidding.
I was gonna say, yeah, zero incentive.
Okay, then I will do the
I'm gonna
recap.
recap. I can do a recap.
Okay.
All right. So we're trying to talk about what we're going to do. We're about to send a sending spell when Zelkar the dragon comes down. We talk to him and um, we're trying to convince him to let us have our lives and or we'll fight him to our deaths. And when he's talking to Jasper, he says, um, I think he says, if I recall correctly, that prove that you can do better than me. Prove that you mean that you'll keep this land safe, and you guys can have your lives. And then he rains fire down upon us. So our goal is to defeat him and to um, prove that we can take care of this land, even though our um, political alliances are rickety, even though we're definitely not. It's pretty hard to defeat. Um, is it a wyvern? No, not a wyvern. Um,
Dragon.
a dragon. And we start um, the the queen's mages start throwing things at him. Pietro's vampires attack him. Everybody's fighting against him. I think. Give me a second. Calistan tries to get inside. Is it Calistan or Gabriel who tries to get inside of him? And
Technically both, but Calistan, yeah.
yeah, they're trying to get inside him. Jasper's trying to attack him face to face. We're all trying, and we're all just giving it our all. And finally, we're able to take him down.
Would anyone like to add anything to that?
Gabriel passed through the dragon twice.
Only that the conversation before the fight happened gave at least the impression to Prince that although he was going to fight us, he was holding back. And out of character, out of game, I looked at based on what his abilities he was using during the fight, I looked at his stat sheet and the dude had a freaking wish. So like anyway,
Amazing. Also, the fact that like he could have easily just killed Jasper, because
but
Jasper was right there next to his foot.
he also had a wish. And also, I feel like some people. So Kayla mentioned, I didn't look at it yet, but she mentioned after last time we were together that she thought that the dragon was like resistant to fire or something. And I looked it up, and it turns out this dude can control fire spells. So like, and we had a bunch of people
What
fighting
stat
him.
block were you looking at?
I can link it
It's not what I was using. I can guarantee that. Maybe was it for a Ravener?
Yes, it was the Fire Ravener.
I was not using a Ravener stat block. I was using a stat block that I made specifically for Zellakar.
Oh well, he had the Soul Ward.
Well, that Soul Ward is just Raveners in general.
Oh, okay. But yeah, it was.
Either way, this is a conversation that we can have after the campaign.
Yes. But anyways, I think he was holding back. That's all I want to say.
Okay.
He wasn't.
I'll add that when Jasper, because he was using the skull as his spell focus, when he attacked Zellakar with his necromancy, that actually allowed for him to kind of see a bit into Zellakar's soul and understand the fear going on with Zellakar.
Oh, and I also put a spell on so he could feel like you knew his secrets, like his deepest secret, as well.
Okay. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. Last week.
Okay. Any conversation about what he specifically was saying before the fight? Because there were.
We asked. Go ahead. Go ahead.
He was talking about how
Or actually, maybe that's a conversation you can have in character, because you didn't really have time to mull over it. So, okay, so as the dragon falls, I'll repeat his final words to you. As the light begins to fade from his eyes, the Ravener says, "Oops. Take this land. Prepare it as I could not. Purify it, and perhaps you can stand firm in the coming years." And the light dwindles from his eyes. So you find yourselves surrounded by the corpse of the Ravener, as the especially those of you who are more attuned with magic can feel the energy that was animating his body begin to dissipate. Caliston and um, gosh, why do I always forget his name? Caliston and Charlemagne. I forget my own NPCs too often. Caliston and Charlemagne, you're able to climb out of the bones that you were able to get inside of, where you were helping to really just absolutely demolish his front leg. Sorry, I have to sneeze. Speaking of falling to your death, Gabriel is nowhere to be seen.
Is everyone okay?
I think I'm fine.
I think I can tell the life force between everybody and within like 30 yards of me. Can I check on Gabriel?
Yes, go ahead and give me a heal check.
Okay.
Fantasy Grounds is back up, by the way, for those of you who need it.
Think I'm getting fantasy grounds up now.
All right, so with a 28 heal, yeah, you can very quickly tell as you can feel the life leaving his body. He is pinned underneath the bones of the dragon, and his soul is lingering but faint.
Okay. Let's see. I think I can move the stone. I cast stone shape to help move the stones underneath him, so he's out of from under the dragon.
Okay.
Does that seem to help?
Yeah, so using stone shape, you're able to move the ground beneath him and just kind of knowing where he's at with your life sense rather than just seeing him. And you are able to pull him out, and you see his body, which is absolutely demolished. The first time that he plunged through the dragon, he was able to his body had hardened and it was almost like stone as it came down through. But it looks like whatever effect that had been that was protecting him during his attack was gone by the time that he did the second attack. And while he was able to hit with sufficient force to deal a finishing blow to the Ravener, it did a ridiculous amount of damage to his own body. So before you, he is broken and mangled.
Okay. Is he totally dead?
He is dead.
Can I speak to his spirit?
Yes, with Speak with Dead you can.
Um, Gabriel, do you want me to revive you? I can make you come back alive. Gabriel?
Did we lose you, Gabriel?
No,
Hard
I can't
question
hear
for
you.
him to answer.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Oh, there we go. Sorry, the microphone was muted, not on Discord, but my handset. Uh, Before I answer you, uh, I'm going to ask one question
Isn't Speak with Dead yes or
to
no questions? I'm not trying to be a stickler.
Go ahead. Speak, Gabriel.
that that army. Do I fight them if I die?
Who are you asking?
You.
You do not understand. Actually, roll a wisdom check for me.
Yeah, give me a quick second
Yep,
here.
go ahead.
A little slow right now.
I can roll this one for you if you want to get things moving.
Yeah, please do. Let me know what the roll was though.
You got a 9 for a total of 11.
Okay.
At the moment, especially with, I mean, that you do, and I presume you recognized who was speaking in the dream
It was
or
her.
in the vision. But
Yeah, it was her.
yes, so as long as you, I mean, in this moment, you are having a hard time putting thoughts and concepts together, and you do not believe that you understood what this meant.
Okay. Then I will answer Hestia. Uh, yes.
Alright, then I cast Raise Dead.
Wait, are you bringing me back from as undead?
No,
Just rose.
she's doing
Oh.
raise dead the spell on you, not create
Oh,
undead.
okay. Oh, okay. Sorry.
I might be able to do Breath of Life as long as you're not undead, and it's been
Uh,
within one round.
it has not been within one round.
Okay, then yeah, I gotta do Raise Dead.
Okay. With a jolting shock, you witness the body of Gabriel rapidly mend itself. He still looks gaunt as he gasps back to life, but he is alive.
I hug my dear friend close to me. Gabriel, I'm so glad you came back.
frantically looking around, um, ignoring that we're basically at the base of the neck of the dragon. I'm just looking around frantically.
What's wrong?
I don't know. I'm trying to understand. I saw things. I think I need to get my head together. I don't want to confuse anybody right now.
Um, could I make it so Gabriel can see truth by with true seeing, or
No, true seeing will only pierce magical illusions. It does not bestow the understanding of all things.
can I check if he's cursed or diseased?
Yeah, you can do an examination of him. I'll just use your same heal check as before to save time. He looks to be physically weak from the death that he suffered. He certainly is having the effects and will probably need additional restoration magic, but that's more suppressing rather than removing any of his faculties. So at the moment, you can't see any adverse conditions on him other than that. He's probably in shock to some extent, but that's as much as you can tell without a deeper analysis.
I'm going to give him. I'm going to cast restoration on him to see if I can help with that.
I'm gonna walk up to Gabriel and I'm gonna look him in the face and I'm gonna ask him if he's okay. And I want to do a sense motive to see if he's under any sort of, you know,
Mental
so
control.
Gabriel, you have to respond.
Yeah.
That's your answer. Yeah, you're okay.
Oh, that if I'm okay.
Yes.
I so I'm alive, but I think I'm okay.
All right.
Yes, I'm okay.
With a 42, is he under any sort of influence?
He does not appear to be.
Okay. Last time we were in a situation like this, the guy ran off and started some crazy stuff.
So, going back a few seconds, as soon as I would have touched down on Featherfall, I would have seen if I could use the skull's power to strip the necromantic energies off of Zelikar's soul.
I would like you to make a knowledge religion check. Or no, I actually let me change that. Do a spellcraft check.
Alright, you
Can
hit
I
my
assist?
AC quite a bit.
I will try to assist.
That is not something you will be able to assist with. Holy crap. Oh no, that was your spellcraft. Darn.
Right, I rolled a natural 8. So I think the spellcraft is
Are you are you not on you're not on Fantasy Grounds?
I'm not.
Okay, let me double check. I apologize, Prince. This will not be something that you will be able to assist him with, since this is him using his artifact. Okay, so you have a plus 20.
Plus 11 if he
No, you have a plus 20. You have a plus 20.
yeah.
So with the 28 spellcraft, you can feel the energy of his soul leaving and going as all souls do to Pharasma. However, there's nothing that you are able to do at this time to affect that soul. It is beyond your reach. There is, however, one thing that you I guess, are able to get. And this is as a result of the previous interaction that you'd had with him when you had touched him and gotten that vision that you had. And that is you recognize something about his soul. Just the best that I can describe it is kind of the shape of a face, but for a soul. You're not sure what to do with that information. Or at least I'm not telling you anything that you know about what to do with that information, but you gain a level of familiarity with what that soul looks like.
I commend your spirit. I hope you find. I hope you find something good. Little care for Zelkir. It'll last.
Would you guys like me to talk to him and ask him questions?
While you guys are doing all that, Gabriel's going to slowly bring out a notebook and a pencil or pen and just start writing stuff down.
I would like to know if you would ever like to see Zelkir again.
I should probably do a speak with Dead because I'm pretty sure I have the sense that he is probably evil at this point. And I have a feat that allows my alignment to be considered the same alignment as his. And that might get in the way of him answering questions for you, potentially. If that's okay, Hestia.
That's fine.
And my caster level is also increased by 2 with it, so I will speak with Dead. And they are yes or no questions, right? I'm not asking the dragon.
As you attempt to, or as you cast the spell, you feel no response from it.
Well, it doesn't look like my spell is working. Maybe Hestia can have better luck. I'll let her try.
Okay. I cast Speak with Dead.
In like manner, you find no response.
What about Speak with Han?
Nothing.
Well, he is a powerful dragon, and things can resist even beyond the grave spells like these. Do we have any of the Ruinite left?
I don't think that is a smart use of the Ruinite.
Well, it doesn't run out, does it? Well, I think
my
it's a.
understanding that it was expendable.
Well,
It's expendable as long as you don't, or as long as you aren't very conservative with it.
and
I could sleep and try and raise him again.
well,
Keep calling him.
well,
Can't
the
block the
reason
number.
the reason why I think it's important that the thing with Speak with Dead is they're forced to answer. It is not like we get to ask yes or no questions, but they have to answer if the spell is successful. And he did
Ding, ding, ding.
there is
Keyword.
there is something we need to know from him. He did say that there is a looming threat. Now, when he was alive, he was very cryptic with us, and he didn't tell us exactly what that was. But with 7 or so questions, we could narrow down what this threat might be and what he saw.
Wait,
And
do
that's
you
why
say any of this out loud?
I am saying this. I'm saying this to you guys.
Yes, this is all out loud and in character.
Okay, okay. I know.
Yes.
I I know the threat.
Oh, well, maybe we don't need to ask him questions. What's the threat, Gabriel? What information have you brought us from beyond the grave?
It's an army.
An army of
Of?
what?
Big one. Undead. They're coming. The storm is coming, but they're bracing. They're coming. There's a choice to be made. I think this is why I'm here. Hesse, I think this is why you brought me back as well. There's something coming. Not from this world.
Do you know who's in charge of this army?
I don't. But I saw a storm, a big storm coming, and just brace for it. I don't fully understand it. She doesn't speak very clearly. She's very cryptic in how she speaks to me, but the undead war that has been fought in this kingdom, in this land, this is nothing. This is a scrimmage. Death. I think death itself is coming.
Wouldn't that be Pharasma? Can I do a knowledge religion check to see if Pharasma is the deity that would be considered death itself?
Pharasma is not God.
Well, then who is? That's a knowledge check. There we go. And that's a
With a 30 knowledge religion, you would know that Pharasma's role is not that of death, but of effectively the the judger, the sorter, the distributor. Her role is that of ensuring the continuity of the cycle of life and death.
So, do I know who would be considered death in this context?
I have a few ideas of what this could be.
The
I
the
cast Owl's Wisdom Mass on everybody.
okay. The thoughts that come to your mind, Prince, would be deities that are over death and decay, but there are several that have influence in that realm, and none stand out to you particularly as death itself incarnate, if that makes sense. And I believe that was your question.
So, there's a lot of people who might, a lot of beings that might fit the description.
By the way, and keep this in mind, all of this is happening, you see the groups and armies of the Queen, Bellevent, and Pietro are gathering themselves. And they're
Then
like
we should
not gathering themselves like as if to fight, but are, I guess, recuperating in the
well
aftermath.
we should probably handle them before we ask too many questions. I'm sure they need a mediator between them. I don't know. Do you think that they can supervise themselves?
No.
I think we need to.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be here in the first place.
You do notice a couple people coming from each of the different encampments towards your position. The one that arrives first is one from Pietro's group, and the white approaches you, eyeing the corpse of the dragon warily. "It is finished?" it asks.
It would appear so.
"Then I will inform my lord."
Well, also inform him that we have some new information concerning the welfare of Zelkir as well. Don't assume that all conflicts are over as of yet.
That's a very vague way of. It's very easily misinterpretable. We have more information on the threat that Zelakar was referring to, and it would be of use to your sire as well as the others.
I'm just going to look at him and ask in a soft voice, "Who is this Master Mage?"
Who are you asking?
The white, like, as in who is oh, vampire trees.
Pietro?
Pietro. Who is Pietro's master?
He looks at you disdainfully, and without responding, turns and goes back to goes back towards Pietro.
I just wanted them to know that they can't just go on killing each other. We have more pressing business.
The other envoys from Bellavent and the Queen heard the interaction there.
Good.
Gabriel, I suspect you're suspicious because if it's an undead army that is approaching, you take that. Pietro is merely a precursor to that, correct?
If Pietro's involved, he's only a pawn. I know he's not gonna like it, but he's only a pawn.
I suspect that Pietro was just following the orders of Zelakar. I think that Zelakar's entire motivation was that if his home was made of undead, that the undead army would spare it.
The
I
way
don't
that
think.
Zelakar talked about Pietro was more that it was Zelakar's influence that allowed easily for Pietro and the Lich Mordecai to take over. I don't think that Pietro is taking the orders. He seems ignorant of any orders that may have been given to him. My, I have two theories. Either Zelakar attempted to establish a land of undead so that whatever undead army that's coming would pass on by, not needing to make a change here, and thus he would preserve Zelkir. Or he could be loosely allied with this force and thereby protect Zelkir. So either Pietro is part of this oncoming threat, or he's meant to be a shield from it.
Well, in either case, if Zelakar is correct, I think our next course of action is to establish some sort of stability in this land, as well as trying to make envoys to the lands closest by. I can't imagine that that everyone should be blind to any of this, and maybe other people have more information. Does anyone suspect that the Queen and Bellavant and Pietro are going to have a hard time coming to peace even after all of this?
I certainly do.
I suspect the queen definitely will. She
After the envoys of each group have left and given word to their leaders, you notice a large commotion and movement amongst Pietro's forces. Also, you notice one figure coming from each of the three camps. You can, in not too long, identify that one of them is Emmeline Tempest, one of them is the Queen, and one of them is Lord Bellevant. They have their small amount of entourage, or the Queen and Bellevant have some companions. Emmeline Tempest appears to be alone.
Prince is going to be watching Jasper closely.
He already does that.
Yeah. It's because he's so sexy.
Yeah.
As they arrive, the Queen steps forward first. It is done, then? You promised the delivery of the runite back to my possession as a means of securing my position.
It's part of your means to have sovereignty. So this one burnt out, but the others, Christmas news bulletin included. Jasper gives over the portion that he had.
She accepts it and hands it to one of her followers.
Jasper takes a peek over at Mela.
Yeah, Maleth, I believe you had one stone as well.
Oh, Mayla's going to eye her suspiciously and reluctantly hand it over and say, "We have other news you should listen to if you care about the future of Zelkir."
Speak, she says, and both Emmeline Tempest and Bellevant are at this point looking at you very attentively.
Mayla's going to look over to Prince and Jasper. Say, "I believe my comrades can explain it better than I can, but the threat is not over."
Between my mingling with Zeldakar's soul as he left and Gabriel's vision past the veil of death, it's become more clear what this threat is that Zelakar was referring to. There is an army beyond this world that is approaching. Zelakar's original plans were to make a realm of undead in the hopes that perhaps the army would have more interest in a land of death, and if past Zelkir didn't become infected by their invasion. However, it seems that Zelakar has entrusted with us the future of Zelkir to do something beyond what he originally intended. He intended merely to just scathe things by, but he seems to believe in the hope that we can face the challenge that will come, whether it be in a few years or a few thousand. We know not. One thing I can tell you that I'm sure of is that this land will not survive without the help of everyone in it, and that includes the non living. And that is the that's the main point I want you to understand, Queen. Is that the war against each other has to stop today.
Elora looks at you with a flat stare. It's always more, isn't it? So be it. I will take my people and we will retreat and establish ourselves as decided. And how is it that I am supposed to receive the allotment of resources that I was promised in return for relinquishing my claim to the throne in Melkar?
I can put a mark onto the runite, and we can find you through it.
I have no interest in being tracked. You know where my operations will be centered. You can contact me there if needed.
Queen Elora, I don't know why that, but I rolled my R. Sorry. If I may, I do have great interest in facilitating the establishment of your kingdom, as someone who has also lost his. I can't ask to be a diplomat since I'm not a sovereign of Zelkir, but it would give me great satisfaction to have it and ensure that you get that assistance from Bellavant Pietro.
She looks you up and down and says, "Come and see me in a few days' time, and we will talk. There may be use that I can have for you."
Jasper gives a light bow.
She turns and looks at everybody else, at Emmeline Tempest and at Bellavant, and not quite with a snarl, but with as if she's got a sour taste in her mouth, she turns and retreats with the rest of her accompaniment and joins her entire group. "Well then," says Bellavant, "I suppose that's it for now." He tosses a glance at Emmeline Tempest and says, "I suppose that you will withdraw your army from central Zelkir back to the capital, or perhaps I shouldn't call it that anymore, back to your territory." Emmeline nods but says nothing. So Lord Bellavant turns back to the rest of you. "And what of you? Are you to remain here and ensure that the peace will be maintained as agreed?"
We have not discussed it completely as a group yet, but I have no doubt that there will be at least some of us who remain for this goal.
"I believe that would be prudent. Not that I would impugn your honor, milady," he says, nodding slightly towards Emmeline Tempest, "but being the history that we've had in the last year or so, I would like those assurances to be proven before I will trust you further." Who was it? Oh, go ahead.
I believe that in time we'll find that this hesitant and somewhat shaky alliance will grow more secure. We did fight a world-ending dragon after all. And I suppose we have a universe-ending apocalypse pending. I think we have more than one reason to suffer each other's sovereignty a little.
Sorry, 1 second. Can you say that one more time?
We do
Jasper?
have clicking.
Yeah,
Hestia.
Hestia, can you mute?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I thought I was muted. I'm just grinding.
Hey, Maple Story.
Like
No.
grind Dio.
Yeah. Trying to get some money. That's that's all I like. My
Okay.
bad, guys.
Jasper was saying, I believe that in time, our presently hesitant and shaky alliance that we've established here will grow more secure. After all, we did band together to slay a dragon, a world-ending dragon, and we have a impending apocalyptic threat to come upon us. Who knows how soon? I believe that we have more than one reason to work together and trust in peace.
That's as may be, says Bellivant. Time will tell. Time will tell. Is there anything else that you have of me, or me and or my people and I, free to
I
go?
have something for you. When we came, you promised that the fetchlings would be able to come and inhabit this land.
Yes, yes, of course. You and your people will be welcomed into.
I would like to be on your council so I can ensure the longevity of your people and their fair treatment.
We can see to that you have a voice in the placement of your people, but I promise you safe harbor for you and your people. They are welcome to establish themselves in the lands surrounding Barrowain. What we shall call those lands is to be determined. Perhaps we shall see.
How about Hope? The Hope lands.
We shall see.
Okay.
Regardless, you and your people are welcome. Contact me when you approach.
Okay. Thank you.
Prince will look at Bellivant. I have a request for you. You seem to be, at least out of the ones I've seen, the most level-headed ruler here in Zelkiel. And
Perhaps it's because I'm the only one with actual experience on the field.
maybe so. But with the impending potential disaster that is facing the entire land, I think it prudent to find diplomatic ties with the other neighboring lands around here. I don't know if I trust the Queen to do such a task, and I'm not sure that the rest of the kingdoms will be as amenable to a vampire's request for peace and conversation. But to me, you seem to be the most competent and reputable ruler currently here that could, at least to some degree, rally some sort of something between here and the neighboring lands. And I think that that is probably the next step.
Give me and my people time to recover from all of this, to establish ourselves, or at least begin to do so in the land surrounding Barrowain. And he glances again at the vampiress, once the undead withdraw themselves from our walls, come and see me. We can discuss this.
All right. I will also try to find at least some way to get the Queen and Pietro on better grounds with this idea as well.
We shall see.
Prince looks at Jasper, then looks at Emmeline Tempest, then looks at Jasper.
Per my agreement with King Pietro, I do have diplomatic immunity, and I intend not to compromise that.
I have word concerning that for you, Emmeline Tempest says. Pietro has issued the command that you are all to receive formal pardons for any offences against the crown in the last year. Or perhaps I should say, all of the past is forgiven. Should you transgress against the laws of Zelkir under its new rulers, at all going forward, then you will be held accountable to the law to the fullest extent. But at this time, consider that the crown of Pietro harbors no ill will towards you and your companions.
I'm sure you can understand my hesitations leading up to all this. Granted, I have spent a lifetime as an agent of Phrasma, but I suppose my capacities in that regard are different now.
And what will you do, Jasper Bazadi? And she does have that noticeable gap in her saying of your two names.
Well, I'm sure you saw into my mind. You're aware of what the skull I possess can do. If ever any of your citizens are beyond repair, should they be frenzied and are losing their wits, I welcome you to all meet to give them a peaceful send for the next fight.
Your offer has been taken into consideration, and should the need arise, I may contact you regarding it.
In addition to that, I suppose I do have some responsibility, including my companions here as well. We have some responsibility to ease tensions between these three governments that occupy Zelkir. To what capacity
She looks at you flatly for a moment. You notice her glance up at the sky where the clouds, thick as they have been for the past few weeks, are slowly beginning to dissipate. You speak much of the future, she says. I always thought it was I who could see into it more fully, yet at this time I see only uncertainty, while you seem more solid in what you believe and understand. We shall see what all of this will do. But for now, I have nothing further to say. If you or your companions have any requests to make, you know where we will be. And she turns. Oh, go ahead.
Amalith was just gonna say, tell my father I would like to visit with him soon about what we discussed last we saw each other, when the time is pertinent.
She turns to you, Malith, and says, I will tell him. But know, Malith, that should you have it, he has a place for you at his side.
Malith will look a little surprised and say, I'll keep that into consideration, and will at least listen to what he has to say.
Emmeline nods. And now, as the last of the three groups, she turns and walks away.
As she's walking away, I will say, Emily,
She stops. She does not turn around, but she stops.
that eye of mine, looking into the future, that's hope. I hope that we meet again soon on good terms.
She disappears into a puff of smoke, and you can barely see it as she quickly makes her way back in that form towards Pietro's camp. Would any of you seek to have any further interaction with any of the three parties?
I mean, Malith does want to, like, meet her mother and all that, but besides that.
Okay. Yeah, that won't happen tonight. Over the next few hours, the three separate groups make their way via magic and other means back to their respective domains. And by the end of the day, you will all find yourselves alone here at the site of these ruins, still accompanied, or still in the presence, I should say, of the corpse of Zellakar.
We should probably create a shrine or something here. This was a pivotal moment in history for this land, and at least in the spirit of the people we have removed from it, we should preserve at least this.
I agree. It would probably be good to have something like that to serve as a memorial, especially moving forward with this shaky peace treaty we have.
I can make it. What do you guys want inscribed on it?
Well, I was thinking more of like a temple or something rather large.
I was
Maybe
thinking a sleeping dragon.
or maybe
We
a
don't have to
tomb.
have it all figured out yet. Every building has a cornerstone.
Before we do that, I think I need to speak with all of you and tell you in better detail now that the shock has worn off of what I saw, what I heard. I I'm struggling to make sense of it, so I'm asking for your help. I as I was dead, I I saw smoke spiraling towards me. Out of that smoke, uh, a cloaked figure stepped out, and I know that it was Pharasma. She spoke to me in her very cryptic way, but after she spoke to me, I saw. That's when I saw that army. It was an army of undead, skeletons, zombies, other monstrosities, and it was uh, it was a great army. Uh, quick timeout. Taggart, big army, right? Like big, right?
Yeah,
At least 50 people.
at least maybe even 60.
That would
Maybe
be
even
crazy.
60. Yeah. But just I didn't get an idea of how big it was earlier. Is that up to me, or do you have any input on that?
In the way of dreams, no, I have nothing to add.
Okay. Well, back in, it was an army. They were arrayed in different battle formations against a storm that was coming towards them. Seemed like at the right moment they were they looked to brace for the storm rather than fight it.
do what I can.
You know, before I was told to choose, there was something else that was told to me, and I'll quote: "Child above, fallen below, journey begun, however slow, storm brewing, clouds building, death coming, world killing, all at risk, have a care, be aware, and beware." And I am going to post a little video with audio that I made of that actually.
Gabriel, did I share the guidance that I got with
Yeah,
you?
the mass owl's wisdom.
No, if life is to succeed, then death must be accepted. That's what I got.
If life is what? Sorry.
If life is to succeed, then death it must be accepted. That was from Pharasma. So just so you're aware. I have it in the chat.
Well, from that, I believe that we are to accept Pharasma's, not Pharasma's, but Pietro's aid. AFK.
What does AFK mean, Gabriel?
No, this is
Yeah, just kidding.
I'm helping Thomas with something really quick, so I'm AFK a second.
I think he means a freaking king is what we need to unite us all. AFK.
Why not a queen?
Because
I mean, we
Pacers
got
fuck you.
3 of them.
That is true.
Okay, I'm back.
It's possible that Zellakar trying to make us undead was him trying to accept death. But I also think that we might be able to find another way.
I'm not going to pretend like I completely understand what Zellakar is doing. And I think it's foolish to assume that he knew exactly what he was doing. If anything, that's the reason why he, I don't know. His battle against us seemed more like a test than a fight to the an all-out brawl to the death. So I think there's something about what we were doing that he believed in, despite it being different than everything he was working toward.
find out more and prepare our people.
I mean, I think it's unclear at the moment. I mean, we could debate all night if we wanted to, but I think it's unclear whether having undead aligned with us would give us more or less of an advantage against this undead army that's coming.
Regardless, I don't think we should be aligned with Pietro either way.
What would you do, Calistan? I know we spoke before, but what would you say now?
As to how to respond to this vision of Gabriel's?
That, but regarding Pietro.
I think we should be rid of him. I mean, you know the kind of man he is.
I know.
He's liable to do so much more harm if he's not stopped.
We've tried killing each other. I know that. I know that vampires need to feed. And I'm certain they're not just hunting elk or wolves or desert hares. There are probably people who, best case scenario, of their own free will and being promised comforts by Pietro, worst case scenario, charmed and enthralled to be a constant and sustainable source of nutrition for them. And I'm not exactly keen on suffering that kind of existence for innocence.
I mean, even then, the power he wields, the numbers at his disposal.
I can't imagine supplanting him as a ruler and it turning out very peacefully.
I don't know if the vision that I had has something to do with this. I was told to choose, right? This was before the storm and the army came to a head with each other. Seems like that we have an option either to fight the storm or embrace it. I don't know what Pharasma's trying to tell us. She is cryptic. That's something that is constant with her. But either to fight the storm or embrace it. The storm might be us, the storm might be the opponent that Zillikhar was talking about.
Maleth, Pietro has offered you a seat at his side. What would you do? What would you do about this situation that we're in? Does leaving him on the throne prove to be the greatest risk of peace? Or does supplanting him all but guarantee that his legions will strike us and then the others out of revenge, and in the end make this land purely a land of death?
Well, I think we did just have a meeting with all three parties where we presented ourselves as neutral third parties who, if we remain, we'd be committed to maintaining the peace. And I don't think it says much for the peace we've brought forth if we're the very ones to break it the moment we have a chance. That's not to say that Pietro is not a threat, but I think the precarious situation we have at our hands is not one that I want to have a hand in destroying by moving against one of the factions right now and then bringing upon their wrath and then letting the other two factions take the opportunity to do what they will. Because even if we beat Pietro's legion, then the Queen and Bellivant see that we weren't really serious about our refusal to take sides. They will see us as aligned with one of them, and or they will move against each other or us. They also learn that they cannot trust our promises.
What do you mean? Our promise of the Runite, we gave it back. That's credibility. We were correct about this dragon, which I think also gave a massive amount of credibility towards us. Pietro clearly trusts you as well, Maleth, so we could potentially replace him with you. You could be the key to preserving the peace in the capital. And who's to say that they even have to know that we were the aggressors in this scenario, anyways? It's
You think
far
that
more
wouldn't be
believable
obvious?
that I think it's far more believable that they would think that Pietro was the one that slipped up rather than us.
What does he have to gain with attacking the people who just destroyed a dragon right before his eyes?
Who can know what goes through the mind of an egotistical vampire like him?
I would agree with Malith that breaking the peace seems counterproductive.
That's it.
I think at
That
this point,
Pietro needs to pay for what he's done to me, but not just to me, but to everybody here.
the thing is, I'm not sure any of our personal vengeance overrides a greater good here, and I think we can
The greater
maybe keep
good
in
is
check.
at stake while he's alive.
As far as I can tell, Calistan, it seems like Pietro would be stupid to do anything other than what he has promised to do. It seems like moving on Bellivant would be more trouble than it's
Worst
worth.
case scenario, they know that it was us that made the first move. Do you think that Bellivant or the Queen are going to miss him very much?
Maybe they won't personally miss him, but I think the land will. I think the stability of this land is almost I think it depends on him. As much as I don't want to say it, and as much as I know he has harmed everyone else, it seems to me like if he were to die, it would open up a can of worms that I don't think we're currently equipped to handle. And I think that Malith is right. I think that if Pietro died, the other two would take that as a signal that they could either move against each other or you know, split up his land. I mean,
My biggest concern is that both of them would be expecting his portion of the land to fall to them and not
Yes.
to us. If
And
we were
then
to establish ourselves,
And we have the power to hold it.
We also have a lot
Is
of
the
dead
problem.
citizens, undead citizens, who defer to him as a leader. Would we rather anybody else in the undead be their leader? They seem to be about as bad
This
as
is
he
the
is.
choice.
That's why we make Maleth the leader.
Okay, however we play this, I kn- I'm sorry it's taken me a while. I know my conversation is doesn't seem to make sense to you guys, especially you, Kalston. I know you don't really hold the deities in high esteem, but this is a choice we were given. Zeligar told us that the storm was coming, and I saw that storm go moving towards an army of undead. And now we have the choice for the army of the dead to either withstand and fight the storm or embrace it. We have that choice. We can either fight that storm that Zelikar was telling us about with the undead, or they can embrace that storm. And this might have to do with whatever we decide to do with Pietro. If we usurp Pietro and place Maleth on top, will it be successful? Will peace be maintained in this land? Would the alliance that exists right now, or the truce that exists right now, will it remain, or will everything fall apart and we all go back to chaos? I know you want retribution. Uh,
It's more than just retribution. All of us know the kind of man that he is. He will continue to commit horrible atrocities.
If he does, then he breaks his own treaty.
What do you mean he breaks his own treaty?
Isn't it that he makes no move against people
no
for
geopolitical
20 years.
conflict
for
for the
20
next
years?
20 years.
And we've
If he,
already pledged to move against anyone who would break the treaty.
so if he does that, it would be according to the treaty. If we move before that, then it's sheer stupidity.
Okay, well, who's going to sit by his side then and watch his every move to guarantee that he doesn't do anything malicious? Who's going to volunteer?
Maybe Maleth, maybe you. I don't know.
and who's to say that the Queen or Bellevant are just as peaceful as Pietro? I mean, I suspect the Queen would love to, if she had the power to, be at Bellevant's throat right now. She wants to be queen, and I've seen no reason to think that she wouldn't do something just as bad as Pietro to get her way. I just don't see that Pietro is the main thing we need to worry about currently.
He isn't. But he's somebody I want to be rid of.
I do as well.
Well,
But I have my doubts about the
your so
timing of it.
your solution to his death is also to put Malith in charge, and then you ask who would sit there and watch his every move. Well, if you're putting Malith up to be the eternal ruler of this part of Zelkir, then maybe Malith could be the one that keeps an eye on him. I mean, she is his daughter, and he does seem to want her around.
At the moment, Maleth is less immortal than Calistan is.
Maybe they can both stay with him.
I'm not sure I trust Calistan to be that close to Pietro, if I'm being honest.
Why not?
I take great offense to that, Prince. How often have you known me to act impulsively and not think things through? I can control myself and I can be professional.
I think that's true, but I think you've also shown that you really want Pietro dead. And although
I'm
I
not
think
afraid to voice my opinions, yes,
But it would
but
be
I
an
also know how
unhealthy
to control
situation
myself.
to be have you near them.
yes, I mean I trust you, but I wouldn't trust anyone's will to be strong enough to sit there eternally with someone they want dead.
There's a first time for everything. That's what we're trying to teach Solakar.
Well, maybe if there's a first time for everything, maybe there's a first time for peace as well.
There's 6 of us here. And whatever we do regarding Pietro, whether we keep our word and keep the peace, or do as Calistan desires, but regardless, I doubt that is happening in the next day. There's 6 of us. And I think that, given past conversations, there's a possibility that we may find ourselves primarily split. 2 of us to each ruler in our attempts to broker peace, or rather, maintain some semblance of it for the next few days, and perhaps the next 20 years. Maleth, would you be comfortable and confident sitting beside Pietro?
Honestly, I can't say at this moment that I would, but it certainly sounds like it may be the best option. And in that sense, I'm okay with it if it does itself to be the best option for peace and keeping our word at maintaining it. Um, I mean, I've spent most of my life wanting to kill the guy and hating him, and I barely know him, but I do think, given all we know, maintaining this peace is important, and I can tell you I don't feel comfortable, say, agreeing to take a position next to him or agreeing to maintain the peace or saying I'm going to do things to that end and then being the one to stab it in the back. I'm definitely not comfortable with that. But in lieu of that, I would be okay accepting his position to keep an eye on him, especially if others of the party were nearby to help if the worst happens. Um, and in terms of that, you mentioned that we all may be split in terms of preferred rulers. If we all do want to stick around Zelakar, and I'm not, or Zelkir, and I'm not saying we do, we should all consider that maybe we should insist on at least one of us being close to each ruler in some
Or
fashion.
3 of us.
Yes, in some fashion. Like, some of us could stay at Pietro's to keep an eye on him, some can keep an eye on the queen, some Bellevant. We could even perhaps arrange regular meetings to report on the status of things or something.
I like that idea.
I don't know, these are just preliminary thoughts. I think we should all rest before we make any hardcore decisions. And I also do want to have what I discussed both with you and Calistan before the fight. But regardless of that, we have a lot to think about. I think there's a lot of possibilities.
Hestia,
By
I can
this
only
character.
imagine that with your family and the agreement you brokered with Bellevant, I imagine that you would be a citizen of his kingdom or whatever he'll call it.
Yes, but honestly, I'd be okay with helping with things with Pietro and Bellevant. I dislike Pietro, but I haven't had the hatred that Calistan has or Malith. So if you need help there, I'm also okay with that. I would prefer to be with Bellevant, though. I feel like it's an appropriate place for me and my family.
Gabriel, what do you want?
What I want concerning what? I have been here trying to tell you all the bigger picture, yet none of you are answering me.
We're discussing the bigger picture. What exactly do you need to know from us?
I think we're working out the choice right here, at least the beginnings of it.
Well, fair. Uh,
It is a bit hard to reach any conclusion if we're not exactly decided what we
that's
want to
fair.
do with Pietro.
We want to have a strong foot forward.
I mean, I would prefer that we did not usurp Pietro. We maintain this peace, even if temporary, but the peace that we have worked so hard to achieve here. As to who whom I would shadow, uh, I don't suppose that Alora is happy with me at all. I, but if out of all of us I am the best choice to stick by her side, then I will do that. If I had my preference, I think at this point I would choose Belvant myself.
Interesting. Calistan, I can't say you're. Well, wait, we discovered that you have a brother serving the queen. Would you not want to play a more crucial part in brokering peace between the queen and the others? Or.
No, I choose none of them.
I can respect that.
I'm going to rebuild my order, and it'll serve the same purpose that it did before. Before Pietro, in short, its destruction. But this time it will endure, because I'll be ready for a snake like him. I will be here to assist all of you in whatever you require. You know of the location where we had the meeting. Well, that was the old order hall. Its central location will be nice. You can ask me or any of the men that I will have at my disposal should you require their assistance.
Well, if I get wind of Pietro being how we suspect he might be, I'll be in immediate contact with you.
You have my promise, though, that my order will maintain its neutrality. We will not pick a side. except of course the side of Zelkir.
Thank you.
That's what we need. That's what this land needs more than anything.
Prince, I imagine you have big plans for whatever sentiments and philosophies you subscribe to.
Yeah, Prince, do you mind sharing what you're going to start doing?
Yes, Prince, on this place where Zelakar has died, I am going to build a temple. I'm going to permanently gentle repose his body. Make it look nicer than the way you guys smashed through it, of course. I mean, do some work on it so it looks like
He
a
wanted
fresh.
us to smash his body apart.
Well, I mean, but I'm not gonna leave it like that. Anyways, gentle repose the body. I am going to probably sanctify it, and it's going to be a Shavik temple. There's going to be dancers and music, and I'm going to petition celestials from time to time, see if they can come to the temple and bless it and stuff. It's going to be a party city with hot dancers and courts.
Okay.
Just like Vegas.
What do
Hot
you
dancers
do?
in the courts.
What do you do? Oh my God. Okay. Prince, what do you do before you retire for the night, as far as like immediate efforts? Do you do anything or just plan?
Well, it seems like everything is like
So I mean, most of that will take time and resources, and will be really what you're working on post campaign.
yeah.
Is there anything that
I
you would do tonight? Tonight in game, not out of game.
Well, it seems like everyone else has retired and stuff. I mean, I do um want to hash out the stuff with Gabriel. Gabriel seems very concerned with this oncoming darkness stuff. Do we have I would probably say this a little bit gentler in character, but do we have a time period for when the apocalypse is coming, Gabriel?
I don't know. But I just want to confirm with everybody that instead of the undead embracing the storm that is coming for all of us, they will join us and fight with us. Is that correct?
I think that's the best
I
course
believe
of action.
I believe that is.
That's right.
Great. Then our choice is made, and I don't know how long it will take. We might die of natural causes before it happens.
Well, what if we take a trip to Pharasma and get some guidance, Gabriel?
I will be
I
glad
won't
to do
die
that.
of natural causes, and I will immortalize everything you guys write. I will write a bunch of words on paper, and I will have them bound and disseminated to all of the people of Zelkir of all the great deeds that we have all done. And if you guys want to write books, I can then take each of those books and bind them and put them together.
I'm going to
Well,
point out, Hestia, that going to Pharasma for clarification is like going to a brewery with the intent of help with sobriety.
You
Then
I
we
don't
can go
follow
to
the
a
gods.
different god. She's
And
not the only god out there.
I know a cleric that can help us make sense of this.
Good.
And I agree with Sherry.
definitely think we should consult with her if you think she has insight. Also, I want to say that since we don't know when this threat is coming, and we may be dead before it comes, then we should think about how to prepare future generations of Zelkir for it. And I think that Prince's ideas of a holy site and books are probably a good beginning to that.
Yes,
Yep.
a foundation. I think only Kayla's gonna.
I got it, and that's what's important.
I'll have to spend some time getting to know these things. I won't exactly be with them forever. I don't know anybody else or any other artifacts that do this very specific thing that I've only recently begun to do. I will.
You can do it in my temple, Jasper. You can be one of the head priests of my temple.
It
And
technically is an artifact of Pharasma, but I'm not sure that this quite goes in line with what Ashavas do.
it absolutely does. Whenever the undead are thought to exist anymore, they can come to the centralized place, to the Temple of Ashava, and you can absolve them of their unholy deafness and then send them on their way peacefully. That's exactly what Ashava wants.
I do believe that would please the Great Lady as well.
Perhaps
Yes.
you're right.
We don't necessarily disagree, Jasper. I think that what Ashava wants and what Pharasma wants are the same thing. It's just that Ashava wants them to come and choose it of their own accord. And if we set up a place where they can come and
Get some
fear
assisted
this
euthanasia, and that would be great.
well, I wouldn't see it that way. I think that eternal life without an exit that is approved of, or at least societally approved of, is not a good place to be. I think that if humans were immortal, such a thing would be necessary. And if there's no place in this land for that to occur, then I think that it is flawed.
No, I agree. I'm just making a joke. I think that that is a great idea.
Let's talk more about that. And if
And
anything,
maybe
that would facilitate me finding someone to continue this work that I cannot in the long run.
and maybe even Calliston will get what he wants one day, because I imagine Pietro will get bored eventually, and maybe even he will come and seek peace.
I have my doubts, but
Yes, he seems eager to spend eternity.
And maybe in the long run, Jasper can teach me to do whatever he does with this artifact of his, or maybe I can replicate it in some way, because if I had the power to do this, I could do this here forever, potentially. I have not seen my body starting to degrade or my spirit faltering, and if I can stay here, I can be the eternal shepherd of all the undead of this land and maybe lead them into stopping whatever coming storm is coming later. I think that I am in a very particular position to do this, and maybe even Calistan as well. He
To do
seems more
what?
of a fighting type, but well, we have no idea when this storm is coming, and it could be centuries. Out of the people here, the only ones who will survive that is you and I. And according to Jasper, you might even have trouble doing that in the long term for too long. So I know you will build your order for a time, but eventually it will get on its feet, and its immortal guardian might be able to help me out, might help me accomplish my goal. We'll see. We have an eternity to find that out, Calliston.
Sorry, I don't mean to burst your bubble exactly, but I wouldn't count on me being immortal forever. Still trying to come to terms with this form. So at least for now, just don't make any plans for that. I might decide to stay this way, I might not.
Well, you know where to come to if you don't. Either way, I suspect I will be seeing you eventually, and Prince will have a grin on his face.
Not if I see you first. Just kidding. Thank you for saying that, Prince.
You spend the night, to an extent, at peace with the conversation and decisions that you all have made. And as the morning sun rises, the cloud cover that has been over the land has almost completely dissipated. You go about the things and the preparations that you've discussed, and Prince, as you're beginning the groundwork, both figuratively and literally, for your planned temple, you all notice a lone figure walking towards you from the south. It appears to be a human of some sort. As the person approaches, you recognize a figure with silvery hair, it's long silvery hair, probably shoulder to mid back length. Appears to be male and has a very at ease gait with the way that he walks. As he approaches, he sees you all and stops, probably about 50 yards off. He sees what you're doing, especially you, Prince, and he eyes the corpse of Zelakar. May I approach? He says.
Prince will loudly say, "All are welcome."
The man comes close and looks. Actually, Prince, can you roll a sense motive check? Just a raw sense motive, not a perform enhanced one.
It's very above.
I'm rolling as well.
Yeah, I would also like to make that.
That would be an 11.
Okay, Prince, you don't notice this at all. Gabriel, you notice it immediately. Malith, let's see what you get. I think you would pick up on this to a lesser extent, but as his eyes fall upon the corpse of Zelakar, you see a hint of sadness there. So it is true. Zelakar has fallen.
He has.
Gabriel, you notice something seems off about this man's eyes. Something that strikes you as almost familiar, but not human for sure, and not really something that you would see among any of the common races of the world.
I would gently float off here, like just about 3 to 5 feet above the air,
Hmm.
um, and kind of like just lazily fly towards him a little bit. And I am waiting to see if my amulet starts to vibrate inside
It does not.
Okay, then I will. Uh, as soon as I'm within range and it does not, I am just going to gently get back on my feet slowly.
He doesn't react at all to your wings or your use of them. But he turns back to you all, and after having regarded the corpse of the dragon, says, "He has changed, and yet it seems that you are doing something to preserve him."
Yes, it is my belief that Zelakar, even in his last moments, was doing at least to what he thought was the greatest thing for this land, and he was not my enemy when he died. He was, I guess you can call him, at least from my perspective, a teacher. So I wanted to honor him and create a place of peace for all the undead and human alike, centered on his final resting place.
The man nods. He must have felt it too, then, to have come to such extreme measures as this.
I will ask him. Storm.
He nods.
Prince is gonna raise an eyebrow. Well, if you feel the same thing, does that mean that are you a dragon as well? And I am going to do a sense motive on whatever he says.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll also do a sense motive, and I will also say, if you have any insight you can provide us about what's coming, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah, and I just rolled sense motive again and maintained the same roll.
Um,
I also got the same roll. What the heck?
Prince got almost exactly the same roll, just because it was using Perform, it had a significantly higher bonus. So all three of you notice no reaction from him other than a small smile. "I apologize, but there is little that I can shed light on beyond what you probably already know. But I have felt it coming, building. So you have taken his mantle to protect this land, to protect Zelkir. Is that it?"
As best we can. If you have any advice for that, we'll gladly listen.
It is a shared burden amongst us.
"It is well. I suspected for a long time that the burden Zelakar brought upon himself would be too much for him to bear. I am sorrowful that I did not see it in time, nor was I in a position to do anything about it. But if you were able to convince him otherwise, then you will do well to take that mantle. I'm certain that this land will be needed in the battles to come. Do not take your responsibilities lightly. Perhaps, even, we shall meet again before all of this is through. But
I
no,
hope so.
I also hope so.
You won't help but to meet me again. My temple is going to be the talk of the land, and I expect to see you at some point in the next 100 years.
he turns as if to walk away, but stops and says, "Perhaps I will. Perhaps I will."
Before you
I would not do to try and take the same claim that Zelikhar had. He was my friend, my mentor. But what he did here, neither I nor any others of whom I am aware have done. But I have my own home, which I will strive to protect. If you need me, perhaps you may find me in the lands of Arador. Few know me, but you can always find me if you know the name to ask by.
And
Should
what?
That
the
is.
need arise, I am Sholakar. And in the coming years, perhaps we will become more acquainted. But for now, I would pay my respects to my friend, for I have other duties to which I must attend. But I would say one thing more to you. Thank you for putting my friend to rest and allowing him the peace that he might have here.
Jasper nods and steps away from Zelikhar to give his friend the needed space and time for closure.
Um, if he's still here, and we can do this at it like later, but what I want to ask him is if he can um permanently gentle repose his friend for us. I mean, of course, I can probably hire someone else to do it, but if he's here, he might
I
as
can
well.
do it too.
I don't think you can permanency it though.
Isn't gentle repose permanent?
No, it's 1 day per caster level, so you have to continually cast it.
I
Just
see.
Which
keep
I
casting
mean,
it every day.
I can't do it
There
though.
you go. Use magic device. Get spell slots.
I mean, that is an
At your request, he looks to you and says, I can arrange for something.
Thank you.
He takes some time, and if we want to have a little bit of conversation about what you guys could get from him after we close, then we can do that. But suffice it to say that he takes a little bit of time and then he would depart. And as the day dawns, it is a new day for Zelkier. One leading into uncertainty, but at the helm of the new change, the six of you move forward, ready to prepare this land for whatever is to come. And while it is not the end of the land of death, it is the end of this chapter in that story.
Prince, what will you refer to us as in your story? Just the six, or
Sure. And you will have the Book of Calistan, the Book of Gabriel, the Book of Hestia, the Book of Jasper, the Book of Malith, and the Book of Prince, which will come first. Lewis.
Well, I don't think that referring to us as the six is good enough. I think that we should come up with a name that is better suited for the successors of Zelakar.
The Apostles of Prince.
Prince, I
I refuse to
for now, just write your books from your perspective. And you don't have to do it now. I mean, in 20 years, once you've reflected on everything and you have the time to really put your energy into it, I mean, this has to be a masterpiece, a work of art that will survive the ages.
As long as it doesn't get turned into a new religion, I'm fine with that.
Well, Jasper's going to propose the name. If the land is Zelkir and the dragon Zelakar, I think it's appropriate to name us in like manner. And the taking the draconic word for the number 6, I believe that we would be called Zelashat.
What?
Absolutely
No.
not.
Where are you getting?
Wait, draconic. Hey, Zella did.
According to who?
What did Zella did? What did Zella do? Did he shat?
We can find a better word.
Prince, all knowledge of me being in this party in your book that should be disavowed. Okay, just stop by there.
You can be art. You can be apocrypha if you want that. I mean, apocrypha is fine.
If we're going to be referred to as the zealous shats,
Jasper, I usually love your ideas, but
The
Okay,
apocrypha of
no.
how the sandstorm lay. Only
okay.
the nerds
I
will read it.
I have a serious question for you. Gabriel has a serious question for you. How do you know that Gabriel has shat himself exactly 6 times?
How?
Now I do.
or
We
as
just
we'll call
know.
them.
We can smell Gabriel.
Hey, you guys were there for the 6th one. It just happened yesterday. I died.
That
Okay?
is true. That is true.
That
This
is
is
true.
factual. Yeah.
He probably did.
Calson didn't want to say anything. He didn't want to bring it up, because it was like embarrassing. He was just trying to be nice.
And you never proved yourself as a baby, so that helps.
Yeah.
To,
Yeah,
to be
Spencer
honest,
just joined that
the
council.
stink of like the Ravener must have also like helped cover it up a bit. I'm sure they couldn't tell what was what. So, like,
Man, that Ravener really stinks. No, the Ravener doesn't stink at all. The undead don't have a scent. That's Gabriel.
He's been living that state for 20 years. And he just admitted he's a little bit stinky.
All right, while that may not be the ideal, perfect place to end the stream, the final session of the Land of Death, I think that is where we will call it
perfect place to end it.
as
Is it
the
chat?
for clarity, shat is not the draconic word for 6, but
It's Shet.
it's something else that I am not determining at this point because I am not a linguist. The point is that the 6 purifiers or something thereabouts is what you could be called in the history books. But either way,
Purifiers sounds kind of like anti-undead and a little
that's
gross.
true.
To be
That
honest,
is true.
I'm not down for purifiers. To be honest.
Either way, a name will be determined, and that is for what you will be named.
The Wardens of Zelkia.
I like that.
Yeah, the
Sure.
Wardens works. The Wardens works.
Yeah.
Has Dragon Age vibes. I dig it.
Okay. So, we bid to the Wardens of Zelkir adieu, and to our viewers, a kind thank you. Till next time.